Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Good morning, dear challengers. Good morning, dear proactive parents. Welcome to day 4 of our No Yelling Challenge. Wow, we are almost there. We are almost there. Let's keep at it. Interestingly, this is also the week we had in our webinars, in our Q&A session, more of why children misbehave, why the reasons why they don't get to listen and all of that. So we had shared a lot in this week concerning the concerning children and misbehavior. So if you're in this challenge, you're very privileged because you have a lot of insights that is not out there and cannot be taken in the general webinars. And then by tomorrow also you'll be having 10 tools to use to replace the yelling, and then you start putting yourself in the process of learning and practicing all that you have been learning in the 5 days of the No Yelling Challenge. So all of these things primarily is to get you to learn a lot of things which you'll be hearing by tomorrow. You are going to learn so many skills, so many virtues as regards your life as a person, and then how to raise their nervous system. Should be the one doing this, your child should be the one doing that, then you miss your track because it's not always about the children, it's about you. You are the parent, you are the one who needs all of these things. So, welcome in today's challenge. And today we are looking at how to discover your child's needs. How do we discover your child's needs? And then the reasons for those misbehaviors is actually those needs that we have not met. All right. So if you're meeting me for the first time, even this morning, some people are joining us this morning, and we just gave out the link for them to also join because we got their chat this morning. Of course, we all know that network has been Facebook and the apps surrounding it have been having issues. So I just got the chat this morning, and I responded shortly before we came live. So if you're one of those people, remember to catch the replay of the 3 days that we've done already. Today is the 4th day. And so if you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Vivian Annie, and I'm the founder of the Proactive Parents Academy, that online school that every parent of young children needs to be. If you're raising children in the 21st century, you need to be there. You need to get your circle there, because if only you know what to do and others don't understand or don't know what to do, your children will still mix up with others. Your children is not an island. They are living in the circle of friends, peers, and the society. So don't allow the knowledge you have to be just you. Don't allow it to be just you. Share it, get everybody in, invite people in our community. Let's learn together. This is for the good of the next generation, the good of our society, the good of of our own country, Nigeria, Africa at large, and the whole world. Our children may be the greatest thing. Raising them well may be the highest thing you can do for the society. So don't just say you're there and then others do not know what to do. Your children will also mix up with others. Hello, good morning, Jane. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Good morning, Chika Dibia Chika. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So today we are looking at how to meet our children's need. So how do we meet our children's need? How do we understand those things that actually causes us to yell, to shout? If you were in the challenge yesterday, you also saw how we shared about the effect of yelling and how it shuts down and damages our children's brain development. And then we also looked at the downside of yelling on us, the parents, on us, the adults. And I shared an assessment guide yesterday, and I wanted us to look at it holistically. There are one, two, three people that you may know, you know, around your circle, in your family, parents, grandparents, and all that, that you must have seen some of this effect on the downside of parents on them. Some of us that were born in the 80s are already having BP. Some of us that are in our late 30s are already having BP, you know, already having issues around our health, you know, and it's because we don't even understand that some of these things affect our mental health. And in the quote of yesterday, my quote was, your child needs you in the best mental state. You can't even raise anybody without being mentally sound. This is the part that I've also gone, and I've seen a lot, 90-95% of parents making a mess of everything they are trying to do for their children because they're not in the right mental state. So it is not just about you are just shouting, you're just yelling because you're beating, so what? It is about the kind of child you want to raise and about you, about your own health. So when you go through that assessment, you will see that there are all the things we listed in the downside. If you don't have one, you will have to. If you don't have, you know, one, three, four, five things. I've worked with parents for the past 2 years, you know, professionally, and I've seen these things coming up over and over again. A lot of parents are having, you know, issues here and there, and it is because we don't even understand the effects of all this, you know, chaotic and not calm parenting causes us. So we need to be calm. We need to be for us to enjoy the peace, for us to enjoy the joy that God wants us to have while raising these children. You can't parent anybody if you're not in the best state of mind. You can't. You can't. So it starts from you. You are the parent. You are the problem. You are the solution. Don't look at the children. Work on you first. Like we shared 2 days ago, the focus should be you. The moment you get you fixed, then your children will start soaking all of the things that you are modeling, you are teaching them. All right. So, and that's why today we are looking at what are those things that we should, that could be the cause, that could be, you know, how do we handle these things that are the causes, you know, that we find our children, their needs to be met. If we meet those needs and then we also understand our triggers at the same time, then yelling comes shuts down. You know, so we are looking at these things that we should do. One, two, three, four things. Of course, I shared these things detailed in the No Yelling Guide that will be launching next week. So try and get a copy of that No Yelling Guide. I shared all that we cannot share here, and then you read it and get to even get more deeper insights of all of these things. So we are looking at 4 things that will help us to meet our children's need and then understand our own triggers. Number one, I said be present. One of the things I see in parenting is that we are not always present. And then if we are present of, yeah, you know, your body, soul, and mind. Human beings, we are made up of 3 parts, you know, the spirit, the body, the mind. The spirit, the body, the mind is our makeup. So everything in your makeup is what makes you a human being. Now, what I see us do most often is we use present like gifts to substitute our presence. To substitute, I hope you're getting what I'm saying. If you're watching me live, I hope you understand what I'm saying by presence and present. We are Jane, Miss Chikadibia, also Clementine. If you are present with the children, it has 99% of all the things that you need to connect with your children emotionally. Good. Thank you, sir, for confirming. It has all the 99% of all the things you need to connect with your children emotionally. What do I mean? Your presence is what makes the children, you know, feel loved, feel connected, feel remove all the chaos that, you know, may come up while you want to share or tell them do this or tell them do that. What I do personally, as a mother also and as a parent, is I get into the home, I drop my bag on the ground, like I don't even want to enter inside and start sending you and start shouting and start creating unnecessary. The children wants to feel your warmth. The children wants your attention. The children wants your connection. You know, good. Jane says she understands. So what do you do? Hug the children, give a lot of hug. How are you today? How was your day? Tell me what happened. And all of, give the children listening ear. Let them feel loved. Let them feel belonged. Let them feel that they matter to you. You may share your shawarma, your pizza, your whatever, if you like, share gold. But because you're not giving them that one, they don't see whatever present or whatever gift you're giving them as anything. I remember when my children were quite younger, my 5-year-old then, my 3-year-old then, he will constantly tell me, Mom, you're not listening. Mom, you're not listening. I may be writing something and I'll be saying, yeah, so boy, what happened? This, Mom, you're not listening. Mom, you're not listening. They want you to be looking at them and be, feeling, oh wow, oh really? That was what happened. The boy now said what? So that alone makes the children feel connected. And I learned that also from growing up as a child. I remember very well how my daddy comes into the house. My daddy worked with a private firm, so he's always busy. But that did not remove the connection my daddy had with us. He built a solid relationship with us because of that presence. My daddy may just have 5 minutes to stay with us, 10 minutes to stay with us, but he gives us all the attention in the world in that 10 minutes, and everybody is feeling loved, everybody is energetic, the energy is in the home is, so positive, the vibe is hot, everybody is happy, everybody is laughing. I used to tell my husband, a home where you don't laugh and play and scream and jump and shout with the children, that place is a prison. As far as I'm concerned, that home is a prison yard. I don't even know how people survive in such homes. And these are the things we shared yesterday, how all of these beautiful memories register in the part of the children's brain called hippocampus. So good experiences like that register in the children's brain. So the children are looking up for your presence, the children are looking up for your coming home, the children are looking up for when daddy comes. I know growing up, even till tomorrow, where children are where parents are coming in the home and children are hissing, daddy's back, daddy will now start shouting, daddy will now start shouting, this, mommy will start shouting. All of those things are also registering. Even those good memories are also registering in the hippocampus of the children. And these are the ones that causes adverse childhood effects and the trauma that you later grow with, which 90% of us don't even know. We believe, or we think we turned out well, nothing. But by the time you see yourself in parenting, you will see that you didn't turn out well. All the things that you didn't like also as a child will be reflective in your parenting, by the time you start doing the same thing that you didn't like your parents doing to you. So why money comes in like that, everybody is running up, and my daddy will throw the car key up and shout, children of God, this, that. He will hug us, everybody. He will remove the suit, keep on the chair. He's all ears. This one is tying him scarf. This one is rubbing the shirt. This one is opening the bottle. We are plenty. So, everybody jumps on him. Sometimes he lies down. The driver may be waiting for him in the front side of the house, and, maybe driving out in the next 10 minutes, maybe he's traveling or something. But you see him lying down and everybody's playing and shouting and telling him that it is that, the noise. And I remember vividly, what I was constantly doing was, if I'm telling my daddy any story or what happened, and my daddy is not looking at me eyeball to eyeball, I keep turning his head. Daddy, look at me. That I'll be turning his head like this. I think I still do it now as an adult. Sometimes if he's not looking, I'll just get angry and say, you're not looking at me. So I realized that children loves your presence. They want you. They don't want the gift. I'm not saying they don't like gifts. I'm not saying that your gift is not important, but you are most important for them. You are more important for them than the gift. So your presence is number one thing that will help you understand your child's need. Your presence, very key, very, very key. No matter how busy you are, don't allow your 24 hours to finish in the day without your children having to, play with you, look at you eyeball to eyeball, share stuff, do something. There must be connection. And one of the things we do in the Build Your Home Tribe is that there are emotional connection tools that we share, in the course of the week, month, that we do with the children, that makes them feel, connected, and, we can share, they can share everything with us. These are some of the things that bridges misbehavior. These are most of the things that bridges misbehavior. You don't come into the house and start, why didn't you sweep? Why didn't you clean there? Why didn't that? So they're just waiting for, let her finish her shouting. And you come up to a certain level, you start fighting with them because they can no longer resist they can no longer take your fight. So they resist you. The next thing you see is that a 9-year-old, you're talking, he's talking. Your 9-year-old is fighting with you. Your 9-year-old is grumbling, murmuring while you're talking. Your 10-year-old or 11-year-old, by the time they're in secondary school, they've already shut you down, you know. So be present. Be present. It's going to help you when you read the No Yelling Guide. You also understand deeper insights that we shared in that guide. You understand why you need to be present. It shuts off all of these things. And then in your presence, while they are sharing, you see children also sharing. Mommy, that thing you did, I don't like it. Mommy, the way you were shouting for me. Mommy, the way you hit me. Mommy, they share all of their children and their innocence. They are all, expository, so to say. They want to lay everything to bear, what they didn't like and all of that. And then if you're not shouting and what's wrong with you, well, close your mouth, shutting them down, you see them pouring out their heart. You will also find out why they're sharing your own triggers. Oh, what actually made you trigger? What actually made you start shouting was something was not in place, so something was not in place, and this is what actually triggers me. We shared on some of the triggers, how to identify your triggers in the guide also. So your presence is key. Number 2, pay attention. Some of us say we pay attention to our children. I gave them this, I did that. What I've realized with my work with parents especially is that we don't even know how to communicate. Communication is a problem for us. And communication is not is a skill you need to learn. We are also in our Build Your Home Tribe program building some of these things in the modules for each month to understand how to communicate, how to do all of these things, because they are all skills. And by the time we learn it and we're equipped with it, we are also going to be teaching our children how to communicate. Parents think you can't talk to a toddler to understand. You can't talk to you don't know how to talk to a children. Some parents, that's their challenge. But even toddlers, there's a way to communicate with them. What my first son that I've always used to share example on how he was whining and dangling on, at every slightest provocation, I saw that he was having emotional problems. And I said from when he was 3, he was 3 or less than 3 at that time, because I saw him doing that at 1. Any little thing he snaps off. So I started sharing with him how to communicate, how to use your mouth and air your view. Mommy, give me water. You don't fall on the ground. You don't start crying. Crying does not solve problem. Shouting does not solve problem. Air your view. He was quite little. He was a toddler. But while I was doing all of that constantly, and he was growing. We want all these things to be just you teach today, they do today. It's a process. That's why we have the Build Your Home Tribe to, train us in all of this. So it is actually an equipping and a training ground that we do annually for parents, so that you can assess your children with all the trainings you're getting and learning as the year goes by. They are growing. You too, you're growing. I am big on self discovery. So if you've not discovered some of these shortcomings, you will never ever make progress. And the good thing is, while you're parenting your children, you're parenting yourself in self-discovery, because you begin to discover your own weaknesses, your own shortcomings, and begin to work at it. And don't just be dormant because you're an adult and you're finished and all of that, because it's also affecting your other areas of life. So pay attention to the children. While you're paying attention to your own triggers. You're paying attention to the things you need to work on. You're paying attention to, while you're talking with the children, there are so many other things that will be coming up. Children now. There are so many other things that will be coming up while you're paying attention. And you begin to also look at your own life holistically and begin to pay attention to the things you need to work at. So pay attention. And paying attention involves how you talk to them, your body language, how you respond to them, not react, how you structure your home. These are all ways to pay attention. There are times in my home that those hours, gadget is not allowed. I don't touch my phone. My husband doesn't touch his phone. My husband works. My husband is an accountant. He works with the government, and he has loads and loads of work, But even at that, we have been able to structure it such a way that that laptop needs to shut down at certain hours when he comes to the home, until the children sleep after the bedtime stories and bedtime activities. Then you can get back to work, because these children are more important than this work. A time comes, your work is finished, your 35 years is gone in the service, and then your children are there forever. So what you give them now is the best legacy you can give. A time comes you can't assess them again. It is only now that you can assess them and build them in the values you want them to have. So pay attention. It involves all of the things I've just mentioned. It's part of the thing we are doing in the Build a Home Tribe, where we break it down on the structures, how to structure your home, on the media, on the guide, on value system and everything. So if we set these things right, we will be able to understand how to pay this attention, daily, weekly, monthly, and as the year goes by. Are we still there? Can we still hear me? Do you understand what I'm sharing? Show me that you're understanding. Show me that I want this thing to be interactive. Mr. Chikadibia, please show me that you're understanding. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Jane, Clementina, Chinenye, the people I can see. If you can hear me and you understand this thing, it resonates with you, send me an emoji. Let me know that I'm here with you. Confirm that you can understand. Confirm that you're hearing me and it resonates with you. Send me an emoji. Send me a fire emoji. Let me know that is entering. Okay, Jane, say go ahead. Number three is emotional connection. How do we understand our children's need? Emotional connection. I've already said something about emotional connection, and is very, very key. Emotional connection, emotional connection, emotional connection. I cannot say it enough. There are so many ways to connect with children emotionally. There are so many ways to do all of the stuff that makes the children feel connected with you. I have a little garden behind my in my house, at the back of my house, and we have vegetables there. We have ugu leaves. We have, during the rainy season, we put up corn. We put up other veggies, in the garden. And sometimes, while my husband is actually primarily handling that garden, he knows much about farming and all that. So sometimes I don't always go to cut the ugu, cut the stuff, because he keeps telling us there are some you will cut, you damage the big ugu that has the seed. So he's actually the one primarily handling it. And then while he's going to the farm, the children go with him. They are sharing stories of, how this thing works, how to tend a farm, how to do this, how to do that. All of these things you're overlooking are ways to connect with the children. Good. Thank you, Jane, for that stuff you're putting down. So all of these things are way to emotionally connect with children. Another way is, yes, another thing is, for you to connect with children emotionally. So most of the time, we think children don't have emotions. We think they are small. What do they want? I've given them food. I've given them drinks. I've given them everything. It's not true. Children have emotions just like you. Now, a child is crying and you're shouting at the child. What's making you cry? Okay, let me flog you so that you cry the cry very well. What's that? Someone is already throwing emotions. For instance, you as an adult, there are days that you didn't just wake with your beautiful side that day, and you just feel angry, and all of that, and you want someone to talk to you, and the person who you actually wants to talk to you, probably your spouse, probably your close friend and all of that, who you should. Okay, thank you, sir. And then that person who you want, the person to talk to you and tell you, no, don't worry, it's part of life. It happens like that. And the person comes in and say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you not frowning? I beg and sit down. How will you feel? That's the way a child feels when the child is, throwing tantrum, whining down, feeling angry, he's not happy about stuff, and then you're looking at the child, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? Because they gave you, oh yeah, let me flog you so that you know that you've cried the cry very well. I see parents tell me, I don't allow my toddlers to cry. Ah, no, if they cry, I'm going to flog them. I'm going to, and then a child is bottling up anger. A child is bottling up all the overwhelm. A child is bottling up fear. You don't even know that there's something bottling up in the heart of the child. There's something I also love so much in our discipline module in the Build Your Home Tribe. What we also look at holistically is parenting the heart of a child. You're just seeing the physical thing that the child is exhibiting, and the child is inside saying, okay, no problem. I'm waiting for you. No problem. And you don't know that because you can't assess the inside. But how best will you assess the inside? It is from the outcome of the outside. So when you sit down and think that a child doesn't have emotion, what is he frowning for? What is he whining for? It is a wrong way of, in fact, that is one of the major things I have found that have destroyed so many adults today. Because we weren't allowed to access, to express ourselves. We weren't allowed to feel, the pain. Like you're going through a pain, and then you feel the pain with joy, you feel the pain with, smoothness, you feel the pain with, no, we just want to make the person feel less because he's expressing emotion. I tell parents and I tell everybody around me, that every emotion is valid. There's nothing wrong with getting angry. In fact, if you're not even angry, then something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with getting angry. There's nothing wrong with being sad. Even in the scripture, the Lord said we should be angry over a thing that made us angry, but we shouldn't allow the sunset to go down, meaning that our anger should not go overboard. So if you're feeling a child shouldn't get angry because you have provided XYZ, then you're wrong. Your child should be good. You see, Jane said her daughter is 4 years plus and cries a lot, and I just shut and tell her I'll give you reasons to cry. You know, is one of the things we are bottling up in the children. This the memory now that you're creating, and it's a negative memory. And I said yesterday, it stores in the hippocampus, the part of the brain of the children that stores memory and that stores things. And if the experiences are not good, these are the things that causes childhood effects, adverse childhood effect. When the person comes up tomorrow, he also feels you shouldn't express yourself. Shut up. These are the things we do even in our marriages that creates so much problem for us because we don't allow the next person to express themselves because we feel, of course, you are the parent now, so you are on the top. So when our boss doesn't allow us to express ourselves in the workplace, what's wrong with that? He's on top of us now. So why are we also fighting and getting angry that our boss did this, our boss did that, my spouse did this, my spouse did that? So it all started from parenting. Oh, Jane, you see it. Yes, I understand with that. My children, my daughter, who is the first, there was a time she constantly told me when she was a toddler, 3, 4, just like your daughter, she would constantly tell me, Mommy, you don't love me. Daddy doesn't love me. You know why they say that? They don't feel emotionally connected with you. My own children, in fact, if you parent intentionally, your parenting will change you, not the children. And it is in the changing you that the children get to change from those misbehaviors you see every day. And like I said yesterday, it is these things that actually escalates the misbehaviors that we're not handling well while they are children. That's what escalates to the vices you see in the society, the vices that lead people to different problems, you know, that that people get themselves into. So the child is not feeling connected emotionally. The child is crying and you're saying, why are you crying? You're only telling the child that you're not supposed to express yourself. And the child cannot, there's no other way a child can express him or herself. Even age 10, age 9, age anything. A child is child. But we are always looking at them as adults. We want to raise adults. They are not children. They shouldn't be children. So allow the children to grow. They are children. Allow them to be a child. Allow them to go through their own process. So while your child is feeling angry or is throwing tantrum, whining and dangling, what do you do? While my son was doing all of that, I saw that if this kind of person is not handled well, these are the people that grow up to fight in the streets, do all sorts of things because they weren't taught how to handle emotions. I will hug him and tell him, I understand how he feels. I am sorry that he's feeling like that. But you don't cry when you want something. You air a view. You air your view. You say, Mommy, give me water. Mommy, give me biscuit. Mommy, do this. You don't just fall on the ground. Falling on the ground will not bring your solution. Till tomorrow, we do all of that. They are children. Till tomorrow. Even this morning, my 7-year-old that sweeps. After morning prayers, the first thing I told him was, you remember you didn't do your work yesterday evening like you ought to have done it, and you rested because you said you're tired, you want to sleep. And you remember I told you, don't forget to do it early hours today. And he said, oh yes, he remembered. He jumped out and picked up his broom, did his sweeping clean before getting set for school. He's 7 years. He didn't just start doing it now, now and started complying. We have been fighting since 3 years. you know. And then when we realized that, oh, fighting cannot get this thing done, no way, no, there's no anything you can achieve with, the violence, the fights, the anything. You're building a human being, and that's why our society is so chaotic. Even the nation we live, we cannot, nothing has been able to be achieved because we don't understand the place of communication, dialogue. you know we only understand the place of violence and fight, and it has caused more problem, more ruin, more damages to us as a people. It starts from home. I realized long ago that brutality actually starts from home. So by the time I got them to, understand all of this value system you're putting in the home, see how it should be done now, it became an easy thing. You're talking, the children are complying because they have also understood the place of, this thing is actually for my sake. This is my value system. I should live by it, and I am accountable to my siblings, my parents, my family. Because in the value system, also, which is one of the things we do in the Build Your Home Tribe, we have also made it that everybody is accountable to each other. So when the children is not feeling emotionally connected, they will definitely rebel. They will definitely rebel. That's how rebelliousness comes in, and children will begin to become defiant, become rebellious, because they are not feeling emotionally connected. So validate every feeling. Oh, I'm sorry you're feeling like this. It's not easy. What I'm telling you is a huge work. That's why the Build Your Home Tribe is where we do all of the teachings and build you to be in a process. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's a journey. So it's not an end, it's not perfection, it's a process. Enjoy every of the process. What now I look back and I look at all those years when they were 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm like, oh my goodness, some of the mistakes I made, I'm feeling bad because there wasn't any need for it. A time comes, they have also overgrown that level, and yes, Jane, is not easy. It's not. Parenting is huge work. And that's why God put them in our care so that we can commit to this process. So when people give me reasons of, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so at work, I feel bad because you don't even understand the first purpose you have in life. Your number one priority and purpose is to raise those children for God, for the society, for every of the assignment that God has put in them, because they came with a purpose and they are not the ones to realize or see those purposes themselves. It is you who, in the course of raising them, that will see and channel them to the right purpose that God has, assigned them while they were coming to this life. You are not bigger than your child. Your child is not less than you. God just sent you first. I remember my daddy telling us all of that when we were children. And I have grown to understand that also. You were sent first because God wants to prepare you so that you can prepare the next person. Not that your child is lesser than you in any way. Your child is not lesser than you. He's a human being, full human being, body, soul, and spirit like you. So what are you now doing? You're placing work as the first priority, placing your all one bed parties and all the things you think is more important, and pushing them to the screen. Let them go and watch screen so that you have your peace and have your serenity. Once they are, I hear people tell me in my sessions with them, once they're watching TV, that's the only time you can stay, you two can rest, which is another wrong extreme and another wrong approach. We are not raising the children that are on the street, have just the street like in our time. We are raising global citizens. The global stage is their stage now. You know, in our time, it was just your street you were known. Today, the digital is upon us. So if you don't sit up, you will be swallowed, and your children will be slaughtered on this altar of your own ignorance. That's why God has put out all of this knowledge before us today, and we need to embrace it to be able to do the work that God has assigned to us. The digital is upon us, and your children is not, your home is not, uh, how do I put it? Your is not the enclosure of your child. Your children is going out there to meet other children, interact with other children, hear stuff, see stuff that you never knew existed in your own time. I was so naive in my own time that I was just, living in the confines of what daddy said, what mommy said. But today, your child, your pre-nursery child knows stuff, knows a lot because the digital is here. So it's not easy. That's why God knew that in a time like this is what we're going to be facing. And so God also prepared us for a time like this with all the people He's using to prepare us and the things the knowledge He has put out before us. So we are not perishing because we lack XYZ. We are perishing because we lack knowledge on what to do. So knowledge is a deal breaker. So try and be emotionally connected with the children. Don't dismiss emotions, validate them. And finally, give plenty love. What I've also realized is that um, we, how do I put it? We give love like a kind of we give conditions. That's the way we give conditions in the love we give to our children. If you do this, I will do this for you. If you do this, I will do this for you. Love should be unconditional. I shared it in the book I'm working on now, and I have come to realize that this has been time immemorial. It doesn't remove the place of you know, you want a child to do some stuff and you set some boundaries around all the things you want them to achieve. And in that boundary, you're actually in that boundary, you you actually have a kind of I'm trying to pick a word. I'm trying to pick a word for what that boundary does is, to actually boost your child's morale to be able to do that. And then you want to give something like reward system, though not reward system, to make it like you're doing that thing because of that reward. Now, what I have also understood is that we don't place love like unconditionally. We place it with conditions, and that is going to jeopardize or sabotage your your good intentions. It's going to jeopardize your good intentions. Love should not be conditional. Love is unconditional. God Himself loves us unconditionally. Why do you want to tell children that if you do this, that's when I will do this, that's when I will do that? So the children are not also seeing the God we are talking about from the love perspective. Even this morning, I used to have something I do with my daughter, early hours of the day, and like 2, 3 a.m. And we call it wisdom dosage. And after sharing that with the brother, the first two, after sharing my thoughts, it's just a 10, 20 minutes thing. And my son said something that also, opened my head to another dimension. When children when you don't allow children express themselves, you won't even know what your children can do. You won't even know the level of what your children know. So I sat down and meditated and was thinking, pondering over that thing that he shared. And I'm like, wow, I never looked at it from this angle. So what am I trying to say? When you tell children, for instance, God is love, and you are acting in the way that shows that God is not love, they will not relate with that God you're talking about, because your action shows that God is not love. Your action shows that God is using koboko and waiting for me to do one mistake so that I'll flog you very well. That's the picture your child has about God. And that was what my son was sharing this morning. He said that he understood what we shared, was actually talking about, it was from Proverbs, and I shared a story around it, and my son said to me, God actually loves us, whether we do a thing or we don't do it. The only thing that God has done for us to be able to understand how He loves us is that He has set for us, because I used one biblical passage to also buttress my point, where God said He has given us water, fire, and water. So he now said, what God has done for us is He has given us choices. He has given us that choice. The power of our choice is what depends on us to make. that God loves us whether we do a thing or we don't do his command. But the truth is that he has given us the power of choice. So anyone we choose is the result we will get. And he started giving a scenario of what happened yesterday between him and the sibling, and how he wanted to fight the sister to collect the bag that the sister was, quarreling the other younger one before they left for school and all of that. He now looked at it and said, but why is his younger brother making that wrong choice? No, 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 that he shouldn't have. So I looked at all the dimensions he gave, and I'm like, wow, you know. So we are not also showing them, for instance, you're saying God this, God that. We're not also showing them from our own actions that God is what we are showing, teaching them. So love should be unconditional. He misbehaved, he did not misbehave. Love your child unconditionally. We used to place confidence. Before now, 10 years ago, I will tell you there's a child I love best. 9 years ago, I will tell you there's a child, that one, he tells me this, he tells me that. He's so, every time, mommy, let me tell you something. Mommy, let me tell you tomorrow. He still tells me, mommy, let me tell you something. Mommy, he's always coming up with something. He's always coming up with one thing or the other to tell, to share, and big, deep insights. Deep insights, not always talking like a child. 10 years ago, I will tell you, I love this one more than this. But today, I will never, ever in my wildest mind tell you this child is more preferred to this child. No way. No way. Everybody with his own strength, everybody with his own weakness. We are all working towards our weaknesses. No room for competition. No room for um how is it put now? Comparison. No room for comparison. No child A is better than child B. No way. No way. But 10 years ago, I can sit down and say, this one, he's deep. I think this one, no, 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 no. I won't do that today because of the level of knowledge I have accessed. And I have also seen how all of these things have broken homes in the past. What do you think creates siblings fight, siblings quarrels, and rivalry? Even till tomorrow, there are families, hundreds and thousands of families, where adults like us cannot talk to each other because of the perception of what child A feels about child B, and what child B feels about child C, and what our parents said to child A when we were children, how our parents treated child B. All of these things is what constitutes the sibling rivalry we see. And so loving unconditionally is the only way to breach all of these things while your children are little, while they are growing up. Let them not have the perception that mommy loves this one, daddy loves this one. I remember a time my daughter also said to me, mommy, it's because you love my brother more than me. And I called her and I said to her, I can't remember what happened. They were quite young then. And I called her and said to her, oh, you think so? And after we had that conversation, you know, that erased from her mind. Why? Because I addressed it. But if you didn't have a conversation, the next thing is the child is already feeling in the heart, mommy loves this, daddy loves this one, and all of that. So give plenty love, and unconditionally. I said something here in this my note. I said punishment can harden a child, but love can never, ever harden a child. Love can never be too much for anybody, including you. Love cannot harden anybody. So punishment can actually harden a child, and the child is feeling, is it not, just let him just flog me. He flogs me and I leave. But love can never be too much. It can never harden anybody. So thank you very much again for joining me today, Mr. Chikadibia Onyinye. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Onyinye, if you can hear me, send me a fire emoji. Let me know that you got the fire that we shared this morning. Send the fire emoji. Mr. Chikadibia, Miss Clementina, Chinonye, all the people online. I can see you. Thank you for joining me. Send me a fire emoji. Screenshot this session. Screenshot it. Let me know that you can relate with me. We want to use the screenshots, and share it with others who also did not join us. So thank you very much, Onyinye. We are giving out 2 assignments today. I will share it on the WhatsApp later. 2 assignments for you to do. Thank you, Jude, Oscar. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining this session. Jude, did you get all the things you may catch replay? We are done and we are rounding up already. So we are going to do the assessment of today. We are sending the assessment of today to you, and we have 2 assignments for you to do. Assessment of today, and we want you to do the assessment and send back to me also. Let's go through it together. So, okay, thank you, Mr. Oscar Jade. Okay, Jade, I thought it's Jude. Thank you very much for joining me. And the assessment, try and do the assessment today. Go through the assessment. Thank you, Jade. God bless you for being here. I will be here tomorrow again, same time, for the last day of the challenge. I will be sharing 10 tools that we'll use to replace yelling. God bless you and do have an amazing, amazing day. If you have not heard about the Build Your Home Tribe, Jade, and other people that are joining us today. A few people sent chats this morning, so they didn't start from the day one. Also, send us a chat on how to know access the Build Your Home Tribe program and how to know more about it. God bless you and have an amazing, amazing Thursday. See you tomorrow. See you again tomorrow by the grace of God. Thank you so much. Oh,